Hey folks, welcome to Puzzle Spoilers. Today we're taking a look at the secret slider box by Bits and Pieces. This puzzle box is made out of something very unique. It's called Corian. This is a hard synthetic material developed in the 60s by DuPont. It's a blend of acrylic and natural minerals. It's more commonly used as a countertop material, so this is a really interesting application for it. This was designed by Frank Chambers. Frank designed several Corian puzzle boxes. I believe this was originally called the Loris puzzle. It was released for the International Puzzle Party in 2003. This seems to be the mass-produced version by Bits and Pieces. I think there might be an error in the way that this particular box was put together. I don't know if that was a common problem. I do know that there were some manufacturing issues in other Bits and Pieces puzzles. The goal of the puzzle is to unlock this sliding top part and reveal the hidden chamber inside. Let me show you how to solve it. Let's take a closer look at some of the parts here. There's this sliding cover here, which is locked in place. There's this little black bit. This doesn't screw out or move or do anything. And we see a little metal bit right there on the opposite end from where that black bit is. And this looks like the bottom. There's a piece of felt here. And that's about it. There's one trick to opening this puzzle, and it involves manipulating some internal weighted discs. When those weighted discs are in the correct orientation, we will be able to slide this top cover off. Hold the puzzle in this orientation with the black bit facing away from you and this little metal bit right there towards you. And we want to slowly rotate the puzzle counterclockwise into this position, and then just a little bit more, about 30 degrees in fact, into about that position. And then we can start wiggling the lid, and once we hit an exact 30 degrees, we will be able to remove the lid, and it doesn't come off completely. You can take that black bit off if you want to see how the weighted gravity mechanism works. To reassemble the puzzle, we can push the lid back in and then just rotate it a couple times, and the locking mechanism will relock itself. I'm going to go ahead and remove this black plastic piece, and we can do that by just putting a finger underneath and pushing up. This is held in just with a pressure fit. To put that aside, now we can slide off the top completely, and let's flip over the cover, and we can see this little indentation here that interacts with these two discs, and this is the locking mechanism here. There are two discs in here, and so this is actually two separate locking mechanisms. Although on my copy, this sort of functions as a single locking mechanism because I believe one of the discs is flipped upside down. It's a little hard to see here, but these discs are basically circles with one side cut down to make it flat. When those flat pieces are in the up position, it provides enough clearance so that the lid can slide freely, and when they're in the locked position, they look like that, and they grab on to that indentation on the sliding top part of the box. It's a little hard to see the weights on these discs, but if you turn them, you can see that small little silver piece there. That seems to be a small weight, and there's also a weight on the other disc. To make things a little bit easier to visualize, I created these two large discs to kind of show you what's going on in this small section right here. So the two discs are layered. They sit kind of like that, one right in front of the other. And the holes here in these two pieces of paper represent where the weights are. So in my copy, the weights sit in front of each other, one here and then one here. The weights are in line with each other, just like that. And they naturally settle to be kind of right here. And that's what we're seeing here. The tops of these two discs represent the top of these two discs right here. And that creates the locking mechanism. Since this round bit is sticking up, the puzzle is locked, and we're trying to get the puzzle into a position where this flat part is on top, creating a nice flush area where this top cover piece can slide in and out freely. So since this is the natural state of those two discs, as you rotate the puzzle, eventually you get into this position. This happens to be about 30 degrees. I think this is probably a manufacturing mistake that these two pieces are in line with each other, because it allows us to solve the puzzle without going through the second step, which is outlined in the original instructions, which I'll show you. These two pieces rotate in line with each other and therefore are redundant. You really could just have one piece in there. So the way that this puzzle is supposed to be put together, I think, is for the pieces to be put in mirrored. In this case, the level flat state is most likely something that looks a little bit like this. This provides a more complex solution because we need to solve each disk separately. So we need to solve this disk first and then slide the cover a little bit out so that it clears that first disk. And then we can go ahead and solve the second disk, again by doing some rotations until we're in this position and both disks have their flat side pointed upwards. Here are the original instructions. And I believe this does validate the theory that my puzzle was put together incorrectly. We see one of the disks here with the weight on the left side. Here we see another disk with the weight on the right side. Nevertheless, this is a really clever design that uses weights and gravity in a really unique way. This is a rare vintage puzzle. You'll have to find it at auction. I'll put the names of a few of my favorite auction sites below. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. That's it for today, folks. I'll see you on the next video.